Yo guys, it's the Mozzie Effect. Welcome back to another video on the channel. This video is about the type of people that you should avoid at all times, and I mean it, bro. Also, if you're hearing something in the background, something that sounds like air, that's my fan, because currently it is extremely warm in the UK, bro. Yeah, anyways, back on to the actual video. Yeah, I'm just gonna name 5 types of people that you should avoid at all times, bro. And you'd be surprised how relatable this video might actually be for a lot of you guys. This video might be extremely relatable. But yeah, before we get into the video, please like, subscribe, turn on all notifications. Yeah, that's the most common YouTube phrase. Wait, if you actually want to see more videos. But anyways, enough rambling, let's actually go into the video. Okay, so the number one person that you guys should avoid at all times are the people that are sheep. People that agree with you on everything. Yes, unfortunately, there are people like that, bro. People that just like to follow the crowd. People that just like to be sheep. And people that just like to agree with what their friends say all the time, bro. Person is technically a yes person, a yes man or woman. Imagine how boring that can be, bro. Imagine you meet a friend and turns out that person is just a sheep, just agrees with you on everything, whether it's your movie interests, whether it's the things that you like to do. They literally agree and try to imitate you, bro. They literally agree with all the opinions that you say. They adopt and follow all your interests, and even those absolute weirdos that try and copy the mannerisms of that person, trying to replicate and be exactly like that person. That is just weird. Imagine meeting somebody that talks exactly like you, bro. That's like some Perfect Blue shit. If you guys have seen the movie Perfect Blue, you know exactly what I mean, bro. Another person trying to be someone so bad, so much so that they've actually deluded themselves to actually believe that they are that person. I swear that's like a condition. It's like DID, dissociative identity disorder. That's what it's called, DID. You have hopes of like that person being interesting on their own, having their own interests and stuff. It turns out that person is a mirror that reflects exactly what you want to see. Having this person around you, having this person in your corner, in your circle, is basically the same as going outside and taking a mirror with you, bro. You have to avoid a person like that, bro. You have to be very, very careful about the people that you speak to, bro. Because if you talk to a sheep, then that's it. The bottom line is that you're not challenged at all, bro. There's never going to be an instance where that person is going to challenge you and actually hold you accountable for stuff. That will never happen if you have a person that's a sheep. Someone that copies everything that you do. Somebody that just copies everything that you do and agrees with everything that you stand for. Not having a mind of their own. You need to break free from that, bro. You need a friend that you can just have an actual conversation with. If I'm going to speak to someone, I'm going to speak to someone that has their own interests. Somebody that is different from me. Yes, we can have similar interests, but not all the same. I would talk to somebody that has their own pursuits, their own interests, their own things that they like and dislike, the things that they agree with and disagree with. We don't always have to see eye to eye. I don't believe in something like echo chambers. I don't believe in that stuff. I don't believe in anything like that, bro. That's what you call actual human connection, bro. When you embrace somebody else's differences. Because if everybody's the same, you're gonna have such a boring life. Let me explain this one. Let's say you're having like a little bit of banter, just some playful jokes. You're with this person, you crack a few jokes, actually get him. You say a good joke and everybody laughs and stuff. Playfully take the piss out of that person. Playfully, not pushing the boundaries, but saying something that's very, very funny and that just gets everybody laughing. Think of it as just the guys are just there to have a good time. Then someone randomly retaliates and says, "Don't let me mention your secret girlfriend." Something like that. Don't make me mention all your biggest secrets to everybody. Like the guy went from 0 to 100 so quickly, so unexpected. The guy took it seriously when there was nothing to take offense of in the first place. That's a person that you need to avoid, bro. The guy that thinks he can just shut you up and hold you in place and thinks that person can control you just because of one thing that you told him, just because of one thing, one little secret that only you two know, and that person thinks that they have leverage over you. And that is shocking, man. Imagine having somebody like that in your corner. That's how friends turn into enemies very, very quickly. When somebody gets too gas, when someone gets too big for their boots, so they think that they have leverage over another person just because of one secret. I thought keeping secrets, keeping something between just two people was part of a friendship anyway. That's like a big test to see whether the person's worth it, whether the person is loyal as possible, whether the person's actually trustworthy, when you can tell another person certain pieces of information that only he is meant to know and nobody else, and then that person just uses it against you, thinking that they can silence you over that. That is the snakiest thing ever. Also, another thing that I want to talk about is related to this. Let's use this example. One person wants to become a successful film creator or something big, and then the friend gives them advice, and then the friend takes the advice of that person and he successfully becomes a film creator or content creator or whatever the hell. And then that person that gave the advice in the first place, he starts to pipe up and say, "Oh, I put you on." That is the most annoying phrase of all mankind, bro. When someone says, "I put you on, I'm the reason why you're in this position," that's the most vain, arrogant, egotistical thing that anybody can say to someone. They have no right to say that. If you want to pipe up and tell another person, "Oh, I put you on," why didn't you do the exact same thing yourself? You gave advice and you didn't act upon your own advice. Instead of actually doing that themselves, they find satisfaction in telling another person that "I put you on," saying that the only reason that they're in that position is because of them, trying to be all egotistical, trying to own another person. That is disgraceful. Disgraceful. So yeah, that's another type of person that you should avoid at all times, bro. You know somebody like that? Cut them off. Okay, person number 3. Somebody that excludes you indirectly, bro. Let me explain this one. How about this? You're part of a group chat or something, or maybe a group of people have asked you to go out somewhere, whether it's on a hike or the cinema or something like that, or maybe to have fun outside or something. But let's say you want to say something. When you say something, when you try to say a funny joke or something, when you're trying to get involved in the conversation or whatever is going on with the other people there, imagine you say something and then they look at you like you're a foreigner, like you've said something weird. Or maybe in a group setting, you're not respected, you're not as rated as the other people. And you in that scenario, you might have not have done done anything to deserve that. You might not have done anything. They make you feel included in the first place, and then afterwards, once you're part of that circle, they exclude you anyway. Like, what is the point? Honestly, the type of people that do that exclude people indirectly, bro, when you're around people and they make you feel like an outsider, they are absolute losers. There's no justification for that. The person did nothing and they want to ostracize that person. You're not even the problem in that scenario. The problem is them, because if they're just doing that, if they're making another person feel like a piece of shit, that's just a reflection of their own worthlessness. That has nothing to do with you. They're just terrible, shady people, bro. They have a problem with everything and everybody. And they exclude people for the dumbest reasons. One person might be a bit different. One person might be expressive and more happy. And the whole group shuts them out just because of the way that they are. If you're in a group like that, most likely the quote-unquote group leader basically wants everybody around them to just be sheep. If you are acceptable to the group leader, then everything is fine. You're not going to be excluded at all. But if you want to be a little bit different, if you just want to be yourself and you don't meet their requirements, then they're going to just exclude you. Which is dumb. It is so dumb, bro. If you know somebody like this and you notice these signs, then you need to burn the bridge immediately, bro. If you're not wanted somewhere, just keep it moving, bro. Make them actually earn your attention and respect, bro. Because these people are narcissists. Person number 4. Somebody that lets social media dictate their entire lives, bro. And that tends to happen all the time. People just hear people's opinions online, however stupid they are. People just look at what others are doing online and they're seeing how another person is doing, and it appears that that person has quote-unquote made it, so they want to replicate that person's life. But time and time again, these people fall for the same trap. They fall from the same trap that social media is not real. Social media is not real, yet they fall for the social media trap all the time. Just because you see what another person is doing doesn't mean that you have to replicate yourself. These dumbass people that want to sell you courses, these dumbass people that say, oh, do this if you want a stronger jawline, or if you want to get rid of your acne, or if you want to get more girls. Like the corniest bullshit like that. Like the type of people on social media that make you feel like you're behind, bro. And let's say one of your friends actually believes this type of horse shit that these people are saying, bro. Whether it's looks maxing or building a business online, like drop shipping and all of that stuff, and they get into it, tell you about everything that they're doing, and they ask you, oh, what are you doing? And you tell them that you're doing something completely different. You're not even following what these social media people are saying and what's popular. And then that person wants to make you feel like a bum because you're not doing what he's doing. You're not doing what quote unquote everybody else is doing. But that's false. This guy's just fallen for the trap. He believes that's the norm. He believes that's something everybody should be doing. But trends are short-lived all the time, bro. Trends die out, bro. The hype dies out eventually. Nothing lasts forever, bro. Avoid this person at all times, because basically what he's telling you is that he's an attention seeker. That's it. He's following what's trending and what's viral on social media, and then he's just gonna follow the crowd. He's just gonna follow what everybody else is doing, and he wants to make you feel behind, and he wants to make you feel like a loser, when that person is the bigger loser, because that person isn't following what he truly wants. He's just following the crowd. He's letting what other people are doing. He's letting other people's opinions on social media, the people that look like they're living their life when they're not. That person is just doing this to just seek praise and attention from other people. And I know it kind of sounds hypocritical, because right now I'm filming a video and I'm basically just spreading my opinions. But unlike the performative people on the internet, I'm not doing this for the sole purpose of getting clout and all of that stuff. I'm doing this as a way to express myself genuinely. I'm doing this because I've been inspired by people in the past who have also done the same thing and have achieved massive things, and I've also been able to connect with that audience, bro. That's what makes me want to do this, bro, because I've been seeing this as quite fulfilling for me to do. But these people are just clout chasers that just hop on trends, that are bare performative. They are the biggest losers of all time, bro. And those are the type of people that you need to avoid instantly, because all these people do, they just show off and make you feel behind to make themselves feel better about themselves. So many people like that exist in the real world, bro, and that is just actually such a shame, because they think that they're gonna make it. They think that they're just gonna live the dream life when they're not. They're just losers that pretend that they have something when they have nothing. The 5th person that you should avoid at all times, and I've saved the best till last for this one, somebody who stoops to the same level as their enemies, bro, or possibly does something even worse, bro. Let me make an example here. Let's say these two, they've been best friends for a long time. Person A and person B, and then person B gets himself a girl. They've been together for ages, and over time, person B starts to change and act differently, but he turns into a terrible person because of that. He begins to act like someone else, getting egotistical and stuff. He begins to switch up and change. He begins to talk rubbish about his best friend, person A, and person A confronts person B about it, and then the argument continues for ages and ages and ages. They have a big fight because of that, and after that big fight, they fully cut ties with each other. They fully fall out. But then person A does the unthinkable next time. After the falling out, person B begins to have problems with his girl, and the problems get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then they break up. Let's say those two are having an argument over the smallest thing ever, something that can be easily resolved and talked over. Person A hears about this, and ever since that fight, person A begins to take advantage of that situation. So what does he do? He does the unthinkable and gets with person B's girl just for get back, and even goes the extra mile. I'm not even going to get into detail about that, but just imagine a scenario like that. Somebody that stoops to the same level as their enemies, or even more than that. Someone who's excessive with it and just does something that is overkill, that is just not needed, something that just goes beyond the boundaries, something that just crosses the line on all levels. Then yeah, that person's not any better than the person that was in the wrong in the first place. That person becomes exactly the same as that person when the so-called hero, when the so-called person in the right becomes the villain in the end. If you know somebody like that, Those are the type of people that you need to avoid straight away. These people are two-faced, like Harvey Dent, two-faced. Imagine you're in the background, you're neutral, you're out of this situation, you're not involved in the first place, but you're a friend of person A. Let's say, for example, you're a friend of that person. You would look like an absolute idiot in that scenario, defending a person that has done the unthinkable. This is more than a get back, bro. This is like rubbing salt on the wounds. This is like stabbing someone and then twisting the knife inside of them. That's like shooting somebody dead, but then shooting their dead body repeatedly, time and time again, repetitively, unloading the entire round on the dead body. Like it's just straight overkill. If you know a person like that, or if you're friends with somebody like that, that person is worse than the person in the wrong. They are not any better in that scenario. And from that point forward, you need to choose better friends than that, bro. And yeah, that's what we gotta say for this video. Hopefully this rant meant something to you. Hopefully it opened your eyes in a way to see the true nature of human beings, bro, and the terrible things that humans choose to be. But on the bright side, not everybody's like this, bro. Choose somebody that chooses to do good instead of someone that turns from a good person to a snake. If you see signs of these things, and these small signs turn to big signs, then you know when it's time to call it off and stop all of this, bro. And yeah, I think that's the end of this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. The Mozzie Effect out.